Hello and welcome to Segments Has Spoken, a Survivor Fancast. My name is Mark, and with me, as always, is my lovely co-host, Amber.
Hey, Segments Have Spoken is a Survivor Fancast where Mark and I are going to be talking each week about every episode of Survivor Ghost Island. We are recording each episode of Segments Have Spoken immediately after Survivor on Wednesday nights, and the goal is to have these released first thing Thursday morning so that you can listen on your way to work or whatever it is that you're doing.
Yep, Amber and I are very excited about doing this show, really for a couple of reasons. First of all, we do another podcast called Segments with Mark and Amber where we just talk about random facts and things. And so we've actually really enjoyed doing podcasts over the last few months. And last season, during, what was it, Amber? Season 35? Season 34? Whatever.
Season 35.
35, Heroes, Healers, and Hustlers of Survivor. We just had a great time watching it and talking about it. And so we thought, hey, I got a great idea. Why don't we merge our two things together, Survivor and podcast, and we will do a Survivor Fancast. And so here we are.
Yeah, we are real passionate about Survivor. We're loving it. We've been going back and watching a lot of old seasons on Amazon. We have not seen all the seasons.
Yeah, so tonight, a variety of things came up. The Legacy Advantage and, man, did another one come up? No, I guess it was just that one.
The idea of fake idols.
And so this from previous season came up, and they explained it really well, I think, on the show, but we hadn't seen that season yet.
We haven't seen that season. We have a fresh take. We make up for our lack of knowledge with our passion.
Exactly. And so I just want to let people know kind of the situation. Our plan is to record these right after the show, and we're not going to edit them because that takes me too long, and I got to get up and go to work in the morning.
Yep.
And so do you. And so the goal is watch the show, record the cast. We're going to shoot for about a half hour, get it out there, go to bed, let you guys enjoy that show on your way into work or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're really glad that you joined us. We hope you're going to interact with us and give us some of your thoughts on Ghost Island as the season progresses. You can get a hold of us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SegmentsCast. You can also email us your thoughts at segmentscast@gmail.com.
Awesome.
So if you're listening, you're a hardcore fan, and you know some of the background of these stories that we're missing, please let us know. We'll mention it on the next episode.
Yeah, we need you. We need your help. Awesome. So, Amber, I thought tonight's episode was fantastic. We have been on the edge of our seat since, end of December, I think, Heroes, Healers, Hustlers ended?
Yeah, something like that.
And they did that quick little plug for Ghost Island, and we've been very excitedly waiting, reading some blog posts and things, and listening to some podcasts, getting ready. But here it is. The season is upon us.
We're here. It's finally here. So we had 20 players. 39 days. 20 players is a pretty big cast. Sometimes it's not that big.
Yeah. The first couple seasons that we've watched were 16 players. Mm-hmm. And it seems like they maybe in the last few seasons they're bumping that up to 20. Maybe 20 is the new norm. I don't know. But, yeah, we had 20 players, but we didn't really get to know on the show many of them.
No, there was some that really didn't get camera time at all.
Yeah, I was hoping to hear a little bit from that lady. She's 41, and she was in the military, and she's the oldest person on the tribe, or on the show, and then Brendan Shapiro is the second. I can't remember what her name is, but I was hoping to hear more from her.
We don't know because she wasn't really in it.
Exactly, and so it was a bummer. And I think my thought is that those people aren't going to be integral in the show, in that episode. You know, they're not going to get voted out. They're not going to do some big thing because they don't get any camera time. So, anyway. So, I was not surprised that she didn't get voted out. That nothing really happened with that team.
Right. You get to know the relevant people.
Exactly. So, let's talk about how the show started. Often, they're on a big ship or something, and Jeff drops, or he says, go, and they start grabbing supplies and throwing it over the side and rowing into the island. But this time, the boat just brought them in there, dropped them right on the beach.
Yeah, no supplies, just their little bags. They were color coordinated. They already knew which tribes they were on.
Yeah, I thought that was I like that. It really helped to be able to differentiate who the people were when you didn't know anything.
Yeah, during the competition. Is this a blue-purplish cool color team or a red, orange, yellow, warm color team?
Exactly. So, Amber, what was your take on that first competition? I have some thoughts, but I want to hear what you think.
Well, it was so interesting the way that they made them choose a leader of the tribe, and then the leader had to choose the physical competitor and the puzzle competitor based on nothing. They have spent some time at Ponderosa not talking to each other for a week or so, but they don't know anything. And so, like, the girl who got chosen to do the puzzle on one of the teams, they had her talking afterwards saying, I don't know how to do puzzles.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that maybe cost them. Plus, they put some stakes on this competition that I've never seen before.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about that. So each team was given this, I guess each team was going to go to their camp with some fishing gear, but the winner of the competition was going to get this building kit for their shelter building kit. But somehow there is this timer, and the leader had to choose if you think you're going to lose, forfeit, but then you get to keep your fishing tackle, but you lose this other stuff. And I was just kind of like,
and there's a basket of eggs. Yeah, we were saying, like, how do all these people understand Jeff's directions the first time? I would have to say he's got to explain it more than once and let people ask questions before they get started, and we only see the final cut.
I'm guessing so, because I was watching it. It was very exciting. Yeah. I thought it was a great competition. I really enjoyed it. But I was like, wait, what? What's going on? Who's going to win what? And what do you lose if you forfeit? And
yeah,
so I thought that was a little bit confusing.
The leader had to decide whether or not they wanted to forfeit before the sand timer ran out. And then when you forfeit, you get to keep your fishing gear, but you give the other tribe some added benefits.
Yeah, the eggs or something.
Like that. So yeah, that definitely is a way to cause strife in your tribe right at the beginning.
Yeah, and so what did you think of the two tribes? So Malolo, which is the orange tribe, they picked... Who did they pick, Amber?
Malolo picked... They won, so they had picked... Man, I took so many notes.
Brandon. They must have picked Brandon. Because did Chris Noble lose?
Yes. Well, yeah, Chris Noble chose to forfeit.
Okay. Yeah, I can't keep him straight already. So
Brandon Shapiro and Chris Noble were the two leaders. And
Chris ended up forfeiting right as his sand was beginning to run out. So I think it was the right call.
I do too. And so the first part was running. They had to run and get these pieces for a puzzle. And these guys ran so fast. And they had to crawl underneath these wooden things. I've never seen people move that fast. Michael and Sebastian both were. They were like machines. But boy, did they hit a brick wall physically.
About the first halfway through or maybe 2/3 of the way through, it was like they were just like, we're just going to walk now.
Oh my gosh. I thought that Michael got injured because he slowed down so fast. I thought that he twisted his ankle or broke his ankle. It was like they hit a physical wall. They just could not move.
Yeah,
and
Jeff was
saying, like, hey, you've got your adrenaline going, and then all of a sudden it just
not enough.
Cuts off. Your body can't keep going like that. So that was weird to see them both slow down. But Sebastian finished that part first.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Sebastian. I'm thinking if people have watched Survivor and if you know of Ozzy, we watched him in season 13 or season 14 or whatever. But man, that guy he's kind of a more slight guy, obviously very muscular and strong. But man, just climbing trees and swimming like a little fish and just amazing. And so I think Sebastian has some of those qualities going on. And I think he's going to be a real beast.
For sure, reminded me of Ozzy.
In the competition. So I thought that was a great competition. And then they had Desiree solving the puzzle on Chris's team.
Laurel was doing the puzzle on the other team.
Yeah.
I'm not good at those sliding puzzles. That would be tricky. I would think that, my mind works pretty good with puzzles, but I always have trouble with those. I just get frustrated. It's like a Rubik's Cube, but less.
What was your impression of Laurel?
She seemed like she was confident, ready to do whatever she needed to do. She seemed smart. She seems with it.
Yeah, she's one that really stuck out to me from the very beginning, as we were watching some videos about some of the contestants. There's just like she's tall, she's athletic, she's super smart. She went to like Yale or some Ivy League school and played volleyball or something. So she's got a lot going, and she's a big super fan, and so she knows how the game works. I think she could be very threatening down the road here.
Yeah, I agree. So the blue team forfeited, and the orange team ended up winning.
Yes, and that was the reward challenge. They went back and started getting to know each other, building their shelters, and I think our friend Jacob made some big errors early on.
Oh, we love Jacob. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I really wanted to see him go far, but...
we heard a lot of pre-show interviews about him and all the other cast members. They're not allowed to talk to each other, but they make some impressions, and they were all saying how they could really tell that Jacob was a fan of the show and how his eyes lit up every time something cool was mentioned that is in Survivor history. So I really wanted to see him go far.
Oh, yeah. But, well, spoiler alert, he doesn't make it. He makes it through first half. Let's talk a little bit about Jacob. What did you think about old Jacob's play there early on, Amber?
Well, his first... I mean, he goes to... When does he go to Ghost Island?
Well, he goes to Ghost Island after the immunity challenge.
After the immunity challenge. So he's at camp first. I wrote down that he said, there's a lot of abs here, and I've got like one. I could associate with that.
Yeah, I think he was gonna be a funny one.
Yeah, so he told everybody he's gonna go off and explore. He said, do you think there's a hidden immunity idol around here? And then he's like, I'm gonna go explore, and it just kind of made everybody nervous. I didn't understand why they gave him a hard time. Everybody should be exploring, for goodness sakes. It's Survivor.
They just don't like it when you make it that obvious.
Yeah, he was too obvious the whole time, I feel like.
And he separated himself. He just created this distance between him and everybody else. And I think they automatically were like, we need somebody that we can pin things on. He's not really fitting in. And it's kind of weird. And so then they said that we're all going to go look for yams. And Jacob's like, all right, I'll stay here and start the fire.
Again, separated himself.
Again.
Yeah. But he wasn't going to start the fire. I mean, maybe he did. But he was thinking maybe there's something hidden in the rice, the very tiny bottle of rice that they got. We thought he was going to dump it on the ground at first. We're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? And instead he pours it into his sock. Oh. Gross. I guess they're going to cook it later.
Yeah.
But, and there's nothing.
There's nothing. And he's just like, that was probably a bad idea. I'm like, yeah. And just at that moment, I'm just like, Jacob, you were playing too fast, too hard.
Day two at
and
this
it's like,
point.
settle down. And he's down at the beach, and he's like kind of washing his face, and his shoes get washed away in the surf.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm just like, oh, this guy.
You can't just run to Target and get new shoes when you're in the middle of Fiji there.
So funny to me. Yeah, and so Jacob got off to a rough start there, but then we switch over to the purple tribe, which is Navidi, and we find at some point, I can't remember which, maybe we're jumping around here, Amber, I can't remember, but at some point it gets to be nighttime, and Derek is feeling a little bit uncomfortable. No, not Derek, Dominic, feeling uncomfortable with his tribe mates, and he's already kind of made himself a little bit of a target when he kind of at the original reward challenge right off the boat, and I was like, oh, I think Chris made a bad choice there. That's not what I would have done.
Jeff tried to stir up trouble by saying, does anybody think Chris could have made a better choice? And he raises his hand right away,
settle down,
makes himself
Dominic.
a target.
And so it's the middle of the night, and he goes off, and he's like, I'm just going to look. I can't look during the day. Everybody knows, which is not what Jacob did.
No.
Dominic did it right. Goes off in the middle of the night, and he's like, it's too dark. I can't see anything. And then somehow he reaches his hand into the hollow of a tree and finds an idol.
Which, you know what I would never do? Reach my hand into the hollow of a tree, especially in the dark on this tropical island. There was some nasty, nasty bugs they were showing us.
Absolutely.
Ooh, gross.
And so
bats. Oh.
And that looked like he buried it like in a path.
It did look like
like
that.
a weird thing to do. Like, maybe you don't want people to find it. Are they going to go through your bags or something? But man, I would be terrified.
There's not that many places to hide it.
Yeah.
They are going to have their immunity competition next.
Yes, and so what was the first immunity competition?
The first one was the sleds. You had to pull the sleds. teamwork, big puzzle pieces to build a cube puzzle.
Yeah, that was a brutal competition. Pulling that sled looked like it was just killing them.
Yeah, because usually at the beginning, when you've got all these muscular guys, they can just power through anything. They hardly need anybody, and they were pulling as hard as they could, and that thing did not budge. So finally, somebody, I think it was one of the girls, said, let's say 1, 2, 3, pull, which made a huge difference because they were all pulling at slightly different times and not accomplishing anything. So
yeah, and so I think that who was it? Oh, it's so hard to get these names right. Malolo Orange lost that competition, so obviously that means Purple Navidi won that competition. And I don't know. I thought it was an interesting comp. That was fun.
And then since Navidi won, they got to decide who from the other tribe was going to go to Ghost Island. And that's right before Jeff's asking him how things are going. And Jacob pipes up and says they're the best tribe in all of Survivor history and everything's going great. And so then Navidi chooses him to be the one to go to Ghost Island because he was talking all big. And then he says he did it on purpose. He drew attention to himself so he would go to Ghost Island.
Yeah.
Which he was super excited about, and I kind of believe him.
I do too. I think he's telling the truth. I think he wanted to get there. I think he knew in that point that he was in trouble. And if there's any chance of finding some sort of an advantage, maybe Ghost Island was his best chance.
Yeah, I really think he would have been fun to watch for longer in the season because of his attitude there and just thinking things through. I think he was very manipulative, and I think even the way that he said some things that were really obvious and didn't keep things a secret, that was all part of a strategy, I believe.
Yeah, I agree. And Ghost Island was really interesting. Obviously, he gets there, and there's all the snuffers from past seasons, and apparently some other immunity idols from past seasons, and Jacob certainly recognized all this different stuff. But ultimately, he has to break one of these little jars, potteries.
Which, again, how do you know that you don't break all of them? I guess you just
They
know
must
that.
sell you. There must be somebody standing behind the camera.
I'm afraid I would just be like, bang, 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 bang. And
I get them all.
No!
Yeah. Oh. And so he had a chance to play some kind of a game, just a game of chance. There's a locked box, and you have to pick two other things.
One of two other
boxes, and one has a key, one doesn't. And if you win, you get some sort of an advantage. But if you lose your ability to vote in the next tribal council.
Right. So he did debate for a minute, but you're there. I mean, there's nothing else to do. You don't want to miss out on what this potential advantage would be. So I think I would have gone for it. How about you?
I think in Jacob's position where he'd already overplayed himself into a real corner, I think he had to.
Yeah.
I think a normal person, you don't. I just think it's too early to put targets on yourself. The risk of the consequence is too significant.
Yeah, I wonder how that would have played out when it got time to vote. Would Jeff have said, you can't vote, or would his vote just not have gone in the jar? Like, I wonder when it would have been revealed to his tribe members that he did that.
Yeah.
But he did choose it, and he found the key.
Yep, he got the key, opens it up, and it is the Legacy Advantage, which is from...
I wrote down it was from the Game Changers season.
2017 or something, which I think is the run right before Healers, and Hustlers.
Okay. I mean, 2000. Okay. So they said Sierra found the Legacy Advantage on the very first day. You could only use it when you have 13 or 6 people. It's an immunity
that's odd.
For 13 or 6 people,
Yeah,
I guess.
Very specific for some
in
reason.
the Game Changer season, Sarah told everybody else in the tribe about Sierra's idol when she found out about it, the Legacy Advantage, and blindsided her, and she was voted out.
Yeah.
So that was a mistake that she made. You have to choose to give it to someone else.
Yeah, and so Jacob gave it to Morgan, and she had...
On the other tribe, so he doesn't really know them at all. He said he thought Morgan seemed plucky or something like that, and he thought maybe he could team up with her when the merge happens.
Yeah.
Which no, he will not.
He will not. So, so Morgan's got that, and now she has the opportunity to reverse the curse, which I think we're going to hear a lot of as the season progresses.
A little rhyming. I was wondering how they were going to get it to Morgan, and she just looked in her bag, and there it was. So, I really would like to see like a bird's eye view of this, how many Survivor cameramen and staff men are running around all the time. But somebody snuck it in her bag, and she just found it.
Yep, absolutely. And so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I kind of like Morgan. She had a good showing in the oh boy, was it the second immunity challenge or?
Yeah, she's the whale trainer, so
yeah,
she can swim. Yeah.
Let's talk about that next one. So obviously at the first tribal council, we'll finish the first half of this season. The first half of this episode. Who got voted out at the first tribal council? It looked like it was going to be Donathan.
Yeah. Which we didn't want. I think they would have voted out Jacob if he was there, but he wasn't.
For
he
sure.
was on Ghost Island. So Donathan actually kind of started a conversation about getting rid of Gonzalez instead, and she was so pushy and kind of in everybody's face that other people kind of joined in on that. And
yeah, I think she was shocked. And as soon as she
was.
got voted out, hashtag blindsided came up. Blindside, the first tribal.
One.
So.
And I've never seen that before where like her face started to get real suspicious when Jeff was asking everybody questions and they started talking about how sometimes you have to vote out a strong person. And then she was like, can I just wait a minute? And she stood up and started whispering in everybody's ear to see who was voting for what. And then everybody's whispering and Jeff's just giving them some time to talk. Then you think like, oh, maybe they've flipped. Maybe they are going to vote Donathan out. Nope. Pretty much everybody said Gonzalez. Yeah,
absolutely. I thought that it reminded me there was one or two tribals at the end of Healers, Heroes, and Hustlers where they would just get up and start talking to one another, and those were like these big, intense, kind of pivotal moments. And so the fact that Ghost Island is starting with this kind of like dramatic intensity at the tribal councils, I think we were in for a real fun ride.
I do too. I'm excited.
So I think that we might not have seen it all, but I think Gonzalez just brought some drama and some strategery that made other people uncomfortable.
Yeah, for sure.
So she's gone. Goodbye, Gonzalez.
All right.
All right, Amber, we have to quickly get into the second half of this episode.
Yeah, it's basically a whole second episode.
Yeah, because normally it's 3 days, and they do a reward challenge and a immunity challenge and a tribal council, and that's a show. So we had that same thing, that rhythm twice.
Twice, right.
So then what was the first, the immunity, or the reward challenge?
I think it was reward and immunity. I think they only did the one.
Yeah, you're right.
I was really surprised at that. I didn't expect... But maybe it's taking longer because of the Ghost Island.
Island stuff. Mm-hmm. And so in the second reward challenge, it was very interesting. They had to swim kind of like an obstacle course kind of a thing in pairs and release some buoys. They had to swim down, release some buoys.
About 8 feet down, I think they said.
And then they would take the buoys and try to shoot them into a basket. So pretty cool challenge, and Sebastian and Morgan were on the Navidi team, and they crushed it because they are swimmy type people.
Yeah, fisherman and a whale trainer.
And but very quickly, Malolo was struggling, falling behind.
Yeah, so Donathan and James were the last of the people to swim through the obstacle course, and they were the ones who were supposed to go down and release these buoys, and they couldn't do it. They're not strong swimmers, but it was a matter of kind of diving under the water and kind of swimming down.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I've never seen that on Survivor.
No.
You know, like it didn't look that far. I'm sure it was hard, but haven't we all swum to the bottom of a
I'm going to touch the
swimming
bottom
pool?
of the deep end. Yeah, and I don't even think it was as deep as the bottom of a swimming pool.
And like, if somebody was like, if you swim to the bottom of this, I'll give you $1 million. I
mean, that's what we're talking about, or at least you're not voted out in the very first episode.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was really... Donathan had already established himself as not being a strong swimmer, I guess, so he just kind of swam to the shore, and James...
immediately didn't even try.
James kept trying to go under, and he couldn't, so he got a mask, and he'd try again, and he would literally get, 1 foot under the water and then bob right back up again. It was frustrating to watch, and so the rest of the team's trying to get Donathan to then try, and he just... kept saying, I can't.
I'm like, how
not
do you
going to be able to do it.
And I am at this point, I am on my knees in front of the television, and I'm just like, what is going on here? How are you not just trying everything you have to get down?
You have to at least try.
Yeah.
He was just sitting on the edge.
And I was like, at this point, I was like, Donathan, now I want you to go.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
You don't get on Survivor and then not even try.
Yeah. And so then the team is like, Donathan, just try it, and eventually he just kind of gives in and is like, well, I'll give it a try.
Yeah, and it takes him a couple tries, but he does succeed.
He gets down there and he does it.
Jeff Probst is really, really cheering him on.
Yeah.
He is just it's unlikely, but you can do it. You've been waiting for this. Push it,
Yeah, he's Mr. Coach. Doing such a great job, and so Donovan does it. Victory.
Yeah. And then Jeff's famous quote I wrote down here, out of nowhere, a hero has emerged.
I loved it. I was like, my hands went up in the air. I'm like, yes, Donovan. Yeah. And we knew that they weren't going to win. They had no chance of winning. But this moment in Donovan's trajectory, I think something changed. Maybe not in the team's impression, though Jeff is making it seem like he did some superheroic thing, which I think he did in a sense personally.
Personally, right.
But I just think something in his mind shifted, and I just love that kid. Every time he's talking, there's something just genuine and
a little Kentucky
endearing.
Accent.
Yeah.
When he talked about it later, he said, I've always been the guy who couldn't do anything, and I didn't think I was going to be able to do this, and he was just so proud of himself, and I do think that confidence is going to be a huge booster going forward.
Absolutely, and then he's out, and he got sent to Ghost Island, and he unfortunately didn't get to play a game. He broke the wrong jar and didn't get a chance, which I think is good for him. Don't play it. Don't do it. Don't even get tempted.
Drawing attention to you.
And so he's there. He's starting a fire. He's cooking his rice. He's just doing it and just making things. I think now, even if he gets voted out now, he can go, okay, look at what I've accomplished.
Absolutely, yes.
But we'll see what happens. And so then Malolo has to go to Tribal again. And I'm trying to think if anything happened before Tribal. Oh, that was the whole... does Jacob comes back and says, I have this... Oh, my
goodness.
I'm going to tell them everything, but I'm going to tell them that I found a immunity idol. And he's supposed to be super smart.
I know. This didn't deliver right.
Why would you... nobody I've never watched Survivor where somebody's like, hey, entire team, look, I found an immunity idol, and I'm going to play it at this next tribal council because I don't want it.
It's something that he made himself, and so he made it out of some shells, some beads that he took off of something else. And usually when you get an immunity idol, there's a note that comes right with it that says this is a hidden immunity idol, because there's been a lot of fake idols played in the past.
Right.
And then when you have the idol, you don't tell people. You keep it to yourself. You maybe tell one or two people that you trust, usually after a few days. You don't just walk into camp and say, hey, look what I found.
Yeah, everybody sit down, gather around, look at Daddy's immunity idol.
Somebody called him out and said, where's the note? And he's like, oh, I don't know. I must have left it on Ghost Island. And that was really a telling lie, because everybody had seen what a huge fan he was, and they know he would not have left an artifact behind.
It just felt like, this is ridiculous. What are you doing, Jacob? And it just felt, and the whole team was suspicious immediately.
Yeah.
They don't know for sure, but they're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. How, why would he do that? And he doesn't have the thing. And so immediately the whole tribe is like, let's vote him out, but let's make him feel comfortable. So they sent Stephanie, befriend him, draw him out a little bit, make him feel comfortable so he doesn't want to play that idol if it's real.
She did a fantastic job. And so she'd be talking to him, and then they would switch over to her kind of talking head interview where she's saying, hey, I'm going to flirt with him. I'm going to make him feel comfortable. I'm going to get him to reveal all of his secrets. She did it.
Oh,
exactly what she planned to do.
And he spilled everything.
Oh, yeah, exactly. The whole legacy thing and the island, and that he gave it to Morgan, and he doesn't have a real idol, and he just made it up. Everything. He told her everything.
Yeah.
And she was really believable. We actually thought that she had flipped. We thought that she was going to keep him.
Yeah, and so the editors made it kind of seem like, oh, now there's these kind of the beautiful people that are on top, the strong, pretty model people, and then there's like the smart kind of other people that are kind of on the bottom.
Right. And
it seemed like, they're going to kind of switch it and kind of overthrow the power balance here and get rid of one of the strong players. And that's what I thought was going to happen. And
even the strong players thought so. When they're sitting at tribal council, I think it was Brendan leaned over to Michael and was like, I think we're being set up.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that was really interesting. I couldn't tell exactly why he thought they were being set up, but...
I mean, Jacob did almost all the talking. Maybe just listening to him talk about it's a great tribe and his cup is half full and he's got plans to get to the end of the game and all this stuff. He just came across real confident, and that maybe shook him up a little bit, shook up Brendan.
And... so the votes get cast and ends up being Jacob, second person voted out of Ghost Island.
And he knew as soon as his name was on
there
twice,
second
I
one,
think. He was like, oh no, Oh, no. And he's like shaking his head. So he knew that it didn't work the way he needed it to. He only needed, I think, 4 votes to get out. So
yeah, and his the kind of goodbye thing at the end, you know, it was he was just bummed.
Oh, because he's such a fan.
Such a huge fan.
Really
He's like, I don't know if I have
longer.
any game to even talk about. I'm real bummed. But I think he just came out way too fast and way too hard. And it's just like he needed to blend in and just kind of get forgotten.
Yeah.
You know, work hard at camp. Don't go sneaking off.
Yeah,
you know,
don't go sneaking off. I really think that's the first thing that pointed everybody in his direction. Oh, poor dude.
Yeah. So ultimately, I thought it was a fantastic first episode. I had a great time. Like I said, there was moments when I was on my knees in front of the television, rooting them on.
It moved so fast. So if we're bringing some new Survivor fans over here, because maybe they're listening to our other segments cast and they're watching Survivor for the first time, it is very normal to feel super confused, to not be able to keep the tribe straight, to not understand who's on which tribe. It will make more sense the more you watch it, but you did get a good taste of the drama, the idea of the idols, the competitions, what it's like at Tribal Council.
Yep.
It's a very good showing.
Yep, absolutely. So it's going to be super fun. So, Amber, where we want to end each of our episodes is we want to talk about who we think in this episode outwitted, outplayed, and outlasted.
Yes.
Okay, so
sometimes we might agree, sometimes we might have different ones.
Absolutely. So who did you think outwitted this episode?
I'm going to go with Stephanie. This is Stephanie Johnson. Stephanie Gonzalez got voted out immediately, but Stephanie Johnson was the one who did convince Jacob to spill all the beans. And, I mean, she was very witty. She knew exactly what she needed to do to get the information out of him, and she had a plan. She carried it through, executed it perfectly.
Yeah, I completely agree. And when Morgan got the legacy advantage, she said the problem with whoever got it before, I can't remember who you said, had it before in that previous season. Andrea, when her problem was that somebody else, she told somebody else.
Right.
But now, Jacob is gone, but now Stephanie has this little bit of knowledge about Morgan, which I think Stephanie, being apparently a pretty smart, witty, big fan of the show, is going to be able to use that to her advantage moving forward.
Which maybe she and Morgan will team up. Maybe it'll be great, or she could end up messing up Morgan's game.
Yeah, she's like, I've got to get her out before 13, or I got to get her out before 6, so she can't use it.
For sure.
All right, well, that's who I was going to pick, too. I thought she was great. So my pick for outplay, I'm going to vote for Sebastian.
I think we call him Seabass.
Seabass now. Yeah, that was one of Dominic's, like, weird kind of things. Like, your name's, do your friends call you Seabass? And Sebastian's like, I don't know. He's like, you're a fisherman? Your name's Sebastian? Your name's Seabass. He's like, okay.
Oh, man, dude.
Like,
just be not quite so pushy.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's me. I thought Dominic was playing too hard, too, but we'll see. Mm-hmm. But Sebastian had such a great showing at both of the competitions that we really saw him in. The very first one, right on the beach, just fast, strong, go-getter. And then in the water, the guy is just so fast and such a good swimmer. And then getting up the obstacles and stuff in the water. I just think he's going to be great. I think it's going to be really fun to watch him. But we know that it gets to that point where people get scared of people that are good at competitions and they get rid of them. So we'll see.
I hope that they keep him a little bit. I'd like to see his fishing skills put to use, see if he can bring in some food for the crew other than sea cucumbers.
Yeah.
Oh, those look gross.
Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting. So something we didn't talk about, right? They get half the amount of rice that they've gotten on previous Survivor seasons.
Which is never much. I think they see exactly what minimal calories the human body can survive on and give them that much rice. And now they're cutting that in half? Come on!
Yeah, and that's why they gave them those nice fishing kits.
And it's a good thing that one of them forfeited, so they didn't lose their fishing kit.
Exactly. So I think Chris did the right thing, but I think Sebastian is going to be a real provider, kind of like Ozzy was in his season. A huge provider.
Yeah, a little behind the scenes. We're watching Cook Islands right now, so Ozzy is fresh in our mind, and we're huge Ozzy fans.
Big Ozzy fans. Not Ozzy Osbourne.
No.
I mean, we do like the Crazy Train. Who doesn't? Anyway, so Amber, who's your pick for Outlast?
Well, we're thinking so we're kind of looking at Outlast as who's going to be there for a long time, who's got potential to win the game. So I'm just going to go a little wild here. I'm going to say Dominic at this point. He is definitely has a tendency to rub people the wrong way. He reminds me of one of those characters, though, that you're like, how is he still there?
Yeah.
And that people might even, if he gets to a certain point, keep him because they think they would absolutely win against him. When it comes down to the jury vote, this is a long way away. Mm-hmm. But, or the council, whatever they call that.
I can see that.
He's got a lot of personality, but once he found that immunity idol, he chilled out a lot with his paranoia. Yep. And I think that might really help him because he was very paranoid and he was playing a little bit too hard. And now he's kind of chilled out and trying to bond with the tribe a little bit.
Yeah, but he, again, did that super foolish, like, I'm going to make a fake idol.
It's the first week.
Yeah, and then wrap it up in the note from the other one. And again, the people are like,
the delivery was so bad. Yeah. There's a way to do it, I think, where you can fake people with the idol, but his delivery, Chris Noble was immediately suspicious.
Yeah. I think in previous seasons, even people that have a real idol, people are it's just...
Yeah, that's true.
Because who's going to show somebody an idol? It's just such a power play to go, look, I've got this idol, and I'm going to draw you in. And
yeah, often you have it for weeks before you would show somebody, not just a day.
Yeah, and so we've got 2 fake idols in the game. Well, not anymore, because...
Jacob gets to take his fake idol with him.
Yeah, exactly. My Outlast, I'm rooting for Donovan. What's his name? Donathan.
Donathan.
Weird
like
name.
Jonathan with a D.
Yeah, and I think the longer that he stays in the game, the better chances he has. Because he's so likable. Mm-hmm. And I think that he's going to reveal that he's a fan of the show, that he's trustworthy. And yeah, he's not a super strong physical player, but I think that his social game and his trustworthiness is going to get him in a good team that's going to get him far.
Stephanie's interested in him. She thinks she can work with him. So that would really, she can carry him. She could carry him a long way because he's not a threat. He doesn't come across threatening.
Exactly. I think that's going to help. And I feel that this situation with him diving down, succeeding, even though the tribe lost, succeeding in diving down when James couldn't do it. Was it James?
Yeah, James built and bulked up. Yeah,
and so Donovan goes down, he releases it, and it's like something changed. It was such an impact for him personally.
He released the buoys of his soul.
So
a new hero has emerged.
A new hero has emerged, and I can't wait to watch him work his magic through this season. So I'm a big Donathan fan. I don't know his name, but I'm a big fan.
Well, cool.
There we go. Well, we had to cover a ton in, each episode we're going to shoot for about 30 minutes or so. But we covered a lot there, and I'm very excited about Ghost Island. I will give this a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. I would like to know if any of our listeners have a little more Survivor history than us. I'd like to know, when has a fake idol worked really well? Like, what are these people hoping for with these fake idols?
Yeah.
We haven't seen a season where it was an amazing success yet at this point. So to have 2 people try it in the first week, it's just kind of like, what are you doing?
It seems crazy.
Yeah.
No, very excited. So please let us know what you thought of this first episode of Ghost Island, season 36, maybe? Yes, Amber's giving me the nod. Season 36, and we are excited about spending this season with you.
Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at SegmentsCast, or email us at segments@gmail.com.
That's right.
SegmentsCast@gmail?
SegmentsCast@gmail.
It's always SegmentsCast.
It always is. And great. Well, thanks for joining us. We hope you have a great day, and we will talk to you next week.
You can grab your torches, head back to camp.